Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. I want to bring you guys a little update on Litecoin. We're at $44.37 right now. We're down 2.2%. And guys, the Harami pattern that we were looking for, we formed it. We closed up above the 200-day moving average, but we're not seeing that follow through today. Like I was talking about yesterday, we must see that follow through. You always want to look for confirmation. And right now, we are basically right on top of that 200-day moving average. So yet again, today's close is going to be very important for Litecoin. Are we going to lose the 200-day as well as the 20 EMA that's in green there? Or are we going to get a bounce off that? So far today, the volume has not been looking that impressive. And obviously you can see the candle there is not looking that impressive. It's just going to depend on where the close is at. Remember, anything can happen in this space. We could drop down, guys, $10 easily in an hour, or you could go up $10 in an hour, depending on what the whale wants to do when the whale wants to do it. That's why they're market makers and we're not. So you have to take that into consideration, that no one's going to be able to drill anything in this market because no one that I know of at least has that insider information. What you do, you look at these candlesticks, you put all your indicators together, you get a plan for the upside, the downside, and the sideways. And remember, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just here to help people the best that I can. So if you could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're trying for 100 likes on this video, guys, and we're going to make this a quicker one. I'm just going to get into this, show you what I'm looking at. We'll get out of here. All right. So tomorrow will probably be a little bit more important, but we're going to have to see what goes on throughout the day today. All right. So guys, this green box that I have here, this is the area that must hold. The reason it must hold, like I talked about yesterday, are the lower highs that have been taking place in this trend line that we've been on since December 4th. So if we start breaking below this trend line here, I mean, you're looking, guys, at 2 months worth of work or whatever to where this short-term trend could change. So that's why we have to really keep an eye on this zone down here. Okay, first of all, we talked about this. So we had this long day candle, and then this was our Harami pattern that was forming. All right, so that actually worked out perfect, but we did not get the continuation or the follow through. Remember how I talked about this day here that we're having? What we would have wanted to see is a candle that looks like this, with good volume continuing up, so we can make an attempt at this $51.31 that we were at before. And we're definitely not there yet, guys, especially with this candle that's forming today. Like I said, this could easily come up here and then roll over down to this green line, which is around that $40.50. That very well could happen. Remember, we're tied to Bitcoin, so you got to keep an eye on Bitcoin as well. But these are the downside targets that I'm looking at, is that $40. If we do roll over and say we lose the 20 EMA and this 200-day moving average, I would look down to this 40, and then after that I would look for this 50 moving average that's in blue that's coming across here. It's also coinciding with this lower trend line. So I'd look at that trend line, and then as a last hope resort down here, guys, I would be looking at that 100-day moving average, and that's at $33.70. Okay, what you're seeing also on the RSI here, you're still having that downward pressure. You see how price here, guys, it was, let's see, price was around $46. The RSI at that time was around 78, and then we pushed up to around that $51 or $52. I think the high was $53, and look where our RSI was during that time. It was down around 75 at first, and then it got down to 70, and now you see how we're kind of just dropping, falling off a cliff here. And what we want to look for is this going to become some type of like little bear flag here on the RSI. Do you see how we had that big drop? Then if we lose this support, that will be at around 51 on the RSI, then I would expect us to drop down potentially to that 44. Remember, I like to use the RSI like a line graph, essentially. It's the relative strength index, but what you can do, you can pull off candles and you can put on a line graph, and it's basically the same thing like with this RSI that I do down here. I'll draw supports, resistances, trend lines, all that different type of stuff. So what you would do you see where we would want to get support from? It would be around this area right here, around that 44. We hit it here, we've hit it all throughout here, so this should be a strong area of support that we're going to want to see. Now say we lose that, we could fall fast, and that would probably be with the close of this trend line. Remember how strong trend line breaks are. So if we close below that on significant bearish volume, guys, we could be heading down, potentially into this $30 area. That could absolutely happen. But we're going to have to see what happens with the candle today. Other things that were concerning me, okay? What we're going to do now, take a look how we're losing these moving averages. All right, so now the 20 EMA is overhead. On the 1 day, we're holding that as support, so that moving average is gone. Now we're going to be looking down to this 50 moving average, and then be down to this area. All right, guys, now I'm going to take you, and this is what I do. I'm trying to help learn you guys something here. You guys help me. So we'll go to 8, the 8 hour now. Do you see the 20 is on top acting as resistance? The 50 is now acting as resistance, and this is looking like a little bear flag here. Because look, you see the volume, that pull, and then the volume's tapering down, then a lot of times you'll have another shot to the downside. Be prepared for it. Then we'll go to the 4 hour. So throughout the day today, we have been definitely losing strength. We had a death cross right here of our 20 EMA over top of our 50 moving average, and now the 100's over top, and we're looking for support down here at the 200. And that's how you do it. You just work your way down. But the RSI, you know, it's looking pretty ugly right here too. So I would not be surprised if we rolled over a little bit today. But today's close is going to be what's very important. We can let's throw on the MACD quick. So I want you guys to be prepared for further downside. It could happen. But we could also make a move to the upside. You know, that's why we have a plan for the upside. We laid out our targets, what we'd want to see. We have our plans for the downside where we may find support. And that's what I'll do for you guys. That's why I'm not your financial advisor. I'm going to give you the up, the down, the sideways. You do what you want with it. You know, I'm getting in and out, and I'm moving stuff around, and I can trade, you know, long, short, all that. Some people, that they're not able to do that. So that's why I said don't ever take my calls for it. I'm not a trade call guy right now. I'm just someone here giving you my opinion and what I'm looking at from the up and the down and the sideways. So today, guys, this is that hot spot. Obviously, this $40 would be hot if we roll over. You know, depending, we'd have to really look at like the 1 hour chart, see what's happening. But you see how we're getting that negative cross down here, and then also the histogram starting to tick down. So be careful today, friends. That's what I want to see. Are we going to close up above that 200-day moving average or that 20-day EMA? It's going to be important, but we're in a tight little spot right now, and it's going to depend what Bitcoin wants to do as well. So, you know, guys, just keep your head up, keep working as hard as you can, and you know, if you want to just slowly dollar cost average in, you know, in the long run, $44 for Litecoin, I'm sure it's going to be much higher than that. Not financial advice, but with the halving, everything that it's doing, you know, this is a cheap price. It may go a little bit lower in the short term, but, you know, I don't think you can go wrong with a $44 Litecoin for a long-term hold for the next bull run. So, God bless you all. That's my thoughts. That's my takes. Just be patient. Wait to see what happens. That's what I'm doing. So, God bless you all.